Hello there, my fishy friends. It's day one of my 4th steelhead fishing season on the Vedder River. It's been a nice little morning. I've been out for a couple hours exploring a brand new river. Everything's rearranged after the floods, and that'll keep things exciting. There's a lot of stickfish out here. I've lost a little bit of gear. Well, I lost one bead. One 18mm bead that I was trying out, and I think my 3rd cast of the day I caught this guy. So right species, wrong size. This is I guess it'd be a 2.5-year-old fish. It spent the first 2 years of its life in the hatchery. It was released this spring, and it's been feeding in the river since then. So you know, 2.5 years. And had this fish gone out to the ocean, it would already be at 3 or 4 pounds. So there's a big difference between the seagoing trout and the river resident trout. There's not nearly as much food in the rivers as there is in the ocean. So day one, a little bit of snow on the ground. It felt very steelheady. The river's finally dropped a little bit. It's still kind of dirty, but we have about a foot of visibility, which is great. And fish that all day, any day. After I lost that bead, I was trying row for a bit. No bites. I wasn't really expecting to get into a steelhead today. Last year, before Christmas, only one steelhead was weighed in to the Wally Hall Derby, so it's not exactly a very productive time of year, but it's a great time of year to go out and scout the river. I thought it'd be a good time to just recap my last season. So that would have been 1920/21. My steelhead season started out great. My 3rd time out, I think it was Boxing Day Steelhead Derby. I went out with my daughter Helen, and I managed to get into about a 10.5-pound doe hatchery steelhead, and I'll roll on a clip from that right now. I'm a little bit in disbelief. I sure wasn't expecting to catch a fish today. They're so hard to find. But I brought Helen, my good luck charm, my 13-year-old daughter, my favorite fishing buddy. And yeah, we got this beauty doe. Nice hatchery fish. Escaped a seal to get all the way up here. You can see it's got this is a seal bite right there. Wow. I don't know what to say. I'm just like, I'm giddy like a little girl. So as you can tell, I was pretty darn excited about that fish. And I thought, like, yeah, this is gonna be my best steelhead season ever. I caught one Boxing Day. Imagine that. It was placed 3rd in the Derby that day. So I won a fishing rod and a box of hooks, and I was stoked. I went out about, I don't know, 50 times after that, and I did not catch a single fish. In fact, I didn't even have any bites. I caught a couple of these guys, just little resident trout, but I didn't get any steelhead. And I don't know, was it a little bit frustrating? Yeah, a little bit, but it was still, I would say, my best steelhead season so far. So it was my 3rd year fishing for them. And I finally managed to let go of all that anxiety. Like, my first couple of years, especially my 1st year, I really wasn't, you know, 100% sure on the etiquette. And there's always this sort of nagging feeling when you're hiking into a spot, and it's like, okay, is there already somebody there? Are they gonna get mad at me for fishing too close to them? All these little things, you know, they go through your head, and just putting a lot of pressure on myself. Like, you know, just really wanting to catch that fish. In the end, it's not the way to fish. I mean, it's supposed to be fun, right? We do it for fun. Steelhead season, the freezer is already full of coho. I don't really need any more meat. It's not a meat fishery, it's an entertainment fishery. And so even though my 3rd season on the Vedder was the least productive one, it was by far the most enjoyable one, and I'm really looking forward to this year again. So yeah, when I go out to the river, I usually head out for an hour or two because I live so close. And so I go a little bit before work or a little bit after work. And so 50 trips to the river, it's not like I spent 50 full days fishing. Still, you know, I think when you're starting out steelheading, it's a really tough game to figure out. I'm panning around a little bit so you guys can see the background and see the river here. I know some people will find that interesting. And yeah, it's a really tough fish to figure out, because when you're casting for days on end without any bites, it's really hard to tell if you're covering the right water and if you're using the right stuff. So if any of my viewers out there want to help me out and teach me how to steelhead fish a little bit, drop me a line. We'll hook up, go for some hiking around the river. I would love that, because yeah, I want to be a little bit more successful. It'd be nice to catch more than one fish per season. So yeah, that's about that. That's all I have to say. It's Merry Christmas, and I wish you a wonderful steelhead season to come.